Today it is my pleasure to show you how to use Microsoft Word to make worksheets. No doubt, as an EFL teacher, every now and then you will want to give your learners a worksheet, maybe as a test or just a review of some work you've done. And using tables in Microsoft Word is a great way to set out and make a tidy worksheet. So open up the grammar worksheet file that you were given, and as you can see, this worksheet is a little bit messy. It's very difficult for learners to read, and it needs a bit of work to make it tidy. Click at the end of the document, go up to the menu and click Insert. Your first option says Break. We're going to make a new page to put the new worksheet on. So click Break and choose Next Page. And you can see now we have a new page to work on. From here, we don't want to be going from page to page, scrolling. That can be very annoying. So what we need to do is split our view between the two pages. Click on Window, where it says Split, choose Split, and you can see my mouse pointer has changed. Choose where on the page you would like the window to split. Somewhere in the middle is good. You can see now I am working with two windows. If I scroll up here, I can see this page still, but if I scroll down, I can see my new page. So up above, I'm going to have the old page, and below is where I'm going to work with the new page. I can adjust this at any time by simply dragging it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make three simple tables, one for each part of my worksheet. I have a name, I have the instructions and heading, and then I have the actual task. This can be done in two different ways. There's the table icon, like so, to insert one table. Below that, I'm going to press Enter on my keyboard, and then I can also enter a table by going Table, Insert, Table, and you'll see a little window appears, and I want one column and one row, and click OK. And I want one more table. I'll do it the easy way, and I have three tables. As you can see, each of my tables is one row and one column wide. So let's go ahead and make a place on our worksheet for the student's name. I actually want this to be the first table, and I want it to be two columns. You can see if I put my mouse beside that table and click the mouse, it highlights that table. Then I go up to Table, I go down to the bottom of the menu to where those arrows are so I can see my whole menu, and it says Split Cells. I click on that and it asks me number of columns. I want two columns and I want to keep one row. I go OK. Now if you look at the table, I now have two columns and one row. I can adjust this column by simply clicking on it and dragging it over. Now on the left here, I want to write name. So I'm simply going to take what I did before. If I click Control C on my keyboard and then Control V, that pastes the name. I adjust this a little bit more, and now I have a place that says name, and the student can write their name. Next is the table where I'd like to put the instructions. I'm simply going to take all of this instruction text, and instead of cutting and pasting it, I can actually drag it between the two windows. So I drag it into the table where I want it, and I release my mouse button, and it appears. Then all I need to do is format this a little bit. So I can see some bullet points here that I don't want, and I want to tidy them up, so I delete them. And I can now put in some numbers instead. So I select the instructions, I go up to my menu bar, and there is numbering. I click on that, and you can see now my instructions are numbered. Additionally, there's an example here. I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. Now that I've tidied the text a little bit, I don't want it on the side, so I select all the text, and I can move it simply by going up to my ruler here, choosing this little tab, and dragging it in. And as you can see, my example is moved. Additionally, I'd like to make my example italics. So I select the text, I go up to my toolbar, and I click italics. I would like this title to be centered, so I select the title, go up to my toolbar, click center. Now, some of my text here is bold and some is not, so I select all the text, I go up to bold, I unselect bold, and there it is. Now we move on to the place where I'm going to put my actual activity. Up here, I can see that I'm going to need a column for the number, a column for the original word, and a space for the learners to enter the answer. So I'm going to need 6 columns. So I select the table, I go back up to the table menu, I select split cells, I'm going to choose 6 columns. There's 6 columns and 1 row. I click OK. All of these columns are the same size, so I need to adjust the width of the columns. So, if I hover my mouse over a cell, you can see my mouse pointer turns black. I click on that and it selects a single cell. I right click on my mouse and go Table Properties. Now, in the Table Properties, select Cell, and it says Preferred Width. I want to make this just 1 centimeter, so I write 1 centimeter and click OK. As you can see, the width of this single cell has changed. I would like to do this for the 4th cell over as well. So I select the cell, right-click my mouse button, Table Properties, and I change the cell preferred width again. Now, the 2nd cell I would like to be bigger than the 1st, so I select it, Table Properties, and this one I would like to be 3 centimeters. I'd like to do this for the 5th cell over as well. And for this last cell, I actually want it to be 4 centimeters. This is the space where the learners will write their answers. It looks pretty good, but I can just keep adjusting the cells until I've used up the space on the edge here. So I'm going to give that a little bit more. And this one. Okay, that's almost perfect. I like that a lot. Now you can see that there's only 1 row. I'm going to need 9 more rows. So I select the entire table. On my keyboard I go Control C, Control V. I click outside the table again, Control V. I keep doing this until I have 10 rows.